You know, I just realized something. I really suck at starting videos. It's Majora's Mask. After Ocarina of Time, who'd have thought that the next game in the series would be so different in tone, style, and even several gameplay elements? The story of this game's creation is an interesting one. Apparently, this game was originally being developed as an expansion for Ocarina of Time, similar to Master Quest. But after Eiji Aonuma told Miyamoto it was boring, he was challenged to make an all-new Zelda game in just a year. Often, rush games are a bad thing, resulting in buggy, unpolished messes like a certain blue hedgehog. But surprisingly enough, this turned out to be one of the most praised games in the series. Again, let's get into it. The game picks up a short time after Ocarina, with Link wandering the forest, supposedly looking for Navi. But looks like she'll have to wait, as two fairies named Tattle and Tail, wow, ambush Link and knock him off Epona. A masked Skull Kid steals Link's ocarina and horse, riding off with Link giving chase. After a brief platforming section, Link falls down a tree thing and doesn't die.
Or did he?
Anyway, the Skull Kid uses the power of his mask to transform Link into a Deku Scrub and leaves Tattle behind. Link and Tattle then team up to catch him. Right off the bat, this game is drastically different from its predecessor, with Link in an almost unrecognizable form. From there, you meet the Happy Mask Salesman, who tells you that the Skull Kid stole a mask from him. The Majora's Mask is supposedly super dangerous, and if Link can get it and his ocarina back in 3 days, the Mask Salesman will change him back. From there, we enter Clock Town. For the first 3 days, we can't leave or do much aside from try to find Skull Kid. After finding out that he's on top of the clock tower, we head over there with only a couple hours remaining. We confront Skull Kid, who reveals his plan to crash the moon, or whatever that is, into the world, destroying it.
Well, this sure got more intense.
And thanks to a flashback with Zelda, in her only appearance in this game, we relearn the Song of Time. After playing it, we are sent back to the dawn of the first day. Happy returns us to our original form, letting us keep the Deku form in the form of a mask. And when he finds out we didn't get the mask, he brutally assaults us. He tells us once again that we only have 3 days to get the mask back, which is only partially true, and we head off to awaken the 4 giants, who are the only ones who can stop the moon. After these first 3 days, the main story takes a major backseat, essentially freezing until we awaken all the giants. Now, you might be thinking, we have to do this all in 3 days? Well, not really. Similar to a certain Bill Murray film, we have to relive the same 3 days over and over and over until we are able to confront the Skull Kid again. See, though most things in the world reset with time travel, certain items stay with you. After you awaken each giant, you don't have to awaken them again. So, the 3-day time limit that always scares people off is less of a restriction and more of an aesthetic choice. You see, the main focus of Majora's Mask is not the main quest, it's the side quests. You can actually beat the game fairly quickly if you don't bother with the side quests, but that is not a good way to play Majora's Mask. This game is all about the world around you and how your actions affect the people you encounter. Though the land of Termina may not be as vast as other entries, it feels way more dense. Let's start with Clock Town. Thanks to the 3-day mechanic, the citizens have set paths and routes that they take throughout the days. They all feel like real people. This is Majora's Mask's biggest strength. Throughout the game, you solve people's problems. You get to know them. This makes the threat of annihilation by Face Moon that much more impactful. I've mentioned masks a couple of times. Well, these are the main reward of the game. Throughout the game's main quest, you get 3 masks: the Deku Mask, the Goron Mask, and the Zora Mask. These allow you to take the form of their respective races. This is a huge departure of gameplay from the previous entries. Each form has their own strengths and weaknesses, and each dungeon is built around the mechanics the masks obtained in that area provides. But these aren't the only masks in the game. Most of the side quests will reward you with one of the 24 masks. Some are almost completely useless, like the Couples Mask, but some are awesome. The Bunny Hood is by far my favorite. It lets you run faster, and let's face it, Link could use some more speed. Then there's the Stone Mask, which makes you invisible to enemies.
Thank you!
So I've gushed about the side quests, so I'll tell you about some of my favorites. After you beat the Woodfall Temple, you are invited to race the Deku Butler to obtain a prize. You race him in a pretty fun minigame, and at the end, receive a Mask of Sense. But that's not important. What's important is that he tells you that you remind him of his son, who left home long ago, and the times he raced with him. Which reminds me of something Tattle told me about a dead tree we found in the beginning of the game. And in the end credits, we see the Deku Butler crying over the tree. That's kind of depressing. Well, what about this one? You find a little girl in the middle of a canyon in a place filled with dead things. She hides when you approach her, but if you manage to sneak into her house, you find...
Ah! Kill it! Kill it! Wait. What?
If you play the Song of Healing, the Gibdo is revealed to be her father, who was cursed.
Okay, that's pretty dark.
Okay, then there's one where you find the ghost of Domani, a Goron warrior who was killed in the blizzard. He then gives you the Goron mask, and when you wear it, all the Gorons think that you're him.
Well, that's extremely messed up.
Yes, this game, if you haven't guessed, is all about the dark and depressing moments, themes, and characters. Just take this set of quests, for example. So I started a quest in which you reunite an engaged couple. The groom, a man named Kafi, has disappeared, and his bride Anju is slowly losing faith that he'll return. Well, I ended up abandoning the quest early on and instead went to Romani Ranch. There you meet a girl named Romani who claims that aliens are going to invade the ranch at night. She also calls you grasshoppers, so I'm not sure that she's very reliable. Well, turns out there are aliens, and surprise, you have to fight them off. After you do that, you're invited by her older sister, Kamiya, to ride with her to Clocktown as she delivers milk. Along the way, we are attacked by thieves, and guess what? You have to fight them off. Afterwards, you get the Romani mask, which allows you into the milk bar, which is actually one of my favorite places in the game. On the final day, I returned to the ranch and hung out. I checked the houses and found this. It turns out Anju fled with her family, and Anju is completely heartbroken that Cafe didn't return, because I didn't continue the quest, so it's all my fault. Needless to say, I was horrified and went to Romani and Kamiya. Romani then tells me that tonight she gets to finally drink Chateau Romani, which has parallels to alcohol, and then Kamiya asks her to sleep in her bed tonight. As they go back to their house, Romani says, "See you tomorrow," and Kamiya says, "See you tomorrow?"
Well, I'm devastated.
This is just an example of what can happen while playing this game. So you might be wondering, since I've been praising the game so much, is it my favorite Zelda game? Well, no. As much as I love the side quests and the world, the main quest isn't really anything special. The story elements are fine, but the dungeons, well, for starters, there's only 4. That's fine considering the rest of the game, but I do like a strong main quest. Despite the fact that this game is very well designed, the world is interesting, the characters are likable, and the tone is dark, my personal preference is this game's downfall. I love this game, absolutely, no doubt about that. But the dungeons aren't very memorable, aside from Stone Tower, and most of the bosses kind of suck, except for Goat. And in general, I just prefer the classic hero's journey type story than the darker, more complex themes that this game has. Let me put it this way. I like and respect Star Trek, but I love Star Wars a lot more. It's kind of like that. This game is fantastic, but I just prefer another fantastic game more. Which one is it? Well, you'll have to wait and see. So anyway, after many 3-day cycles, mass collections, and not so many dungeons, we make it to the final confrontation with Skull Kid. After summoning the 4 giants, Skull Kid is defeated, but it turns out that he wasn't the one truly behind this. No, that was the mask itself, who retreats into the moon with Link following. And here comes one of the coolest moments in any video game. The inside of the moon. I don't think I need to explain why this is awesome. Anyway, if you've collected all the masks, you get the Fierce Deities mask, which makes the final fight against Majora a complete joke. I don't know if fighting him as normal Link is that hard, because I always use this crazy cool mask. If you defeat him, the moon disappears, and you see one of the most satisfying text boxes ever.
Dawn of a new day. It sure is.
Happy takes the mask and leaves, and Skull Kid reconciles with the giants, Link and the fairies, and that's it. Life goes on. It truly is a new day. So, in the end, I love this game. It's fantastic. It may not be my favorite, but I can't deny that this is an amazing game, Zelda or not. It is different, yes, but give it a chance, and you'll meet a terrible fate. Wait, no, that's not what I meant.
As for me, well, there's one more review. One more game. You probably know what it is, and yes, I've been saving the best for last. I'll see you then.